This is Linda Favela, Jeremiah 18, verse 1. The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I'll cause you to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he was making something on the wheels. When the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter, he made it again another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it. Comment in verses 1 to 4, Yahweh commanded Jeremiah to go to the potter's house. He went and watched the potter as he worked, as he put some clay on the wheel, spun it, and made a vessel. But the vessel was marred, so the potter made it again, as it seemed good to him to make it. What was Yahweh's point? Verse 5. Then Yahweh's word came to me, saying, House of Israel, can't I do with you as this potter, says Yahweh? Behold, as the clay in the potter's hands, so are you in my hands, house of Israel. Comment in verses 5 and 6, Yahweh is the potter and can destroy Judah if he wishes. He formed Judah, and if he doesn't like what he sees, he can destroy them and remake them. In the parable, the potter didn't make a mistake when he formed the pot. According to the wording of it, the potter saw it was marred. So Yahweh is the potter that formed Judah, but their condition isn't his fault the way it's worded. The point of the parable is that the potter has absolute right over the clay. He'll destroy them and start over. Verse 7. At the instant I speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom, to pluck up and to break down and to destroy it, if that nation concerning which I have spoken turns from their evil, I'll repent of the evil that I thought to do to them. At the instant I speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom to build and to plant it, if they do that which is evil in my sight, that they not obey my voice, then I'll repent of the good with which I said I would benefit them. Comment in verses 7 and 8, anytime Yahweh says he'll destroy a nation, he'll relent if they repent. In verses 9 and 10, the same is true in the reverse. Anytime Yahweh says he'll do good to a nation, he'll repent of that good if they do evil. So he reserves the right to reverse course according to what the nation does. It's still the idea of the potter having good intentions for the clay, but he'll reverse course depending on how the clay is responding. Verse 11. Now therefore speak to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, Yahweh says, Behold, I frame evil against you and devise a plan against you. Everyone return from his evil way now and amend your ways and your doings. Comment Yahweh says, I intend to destroy you, Judah, but if you repent, I'll reverse course. Repent. Verse 12. But they say, it's in vain, for we'll walk after our own plans and will each follow the stubbornness of his evil heart. Therefore Yahweh says, Ask now among the nations, who has heard such things? The Virgin of Israel has done a very horrible thing. Will the snow of Lebanon fail from the rock of the field? Will the cold waters that flow down from afar be dried up? For my people have forgotten me. They've burned incense to false gods. They've been made to stumble in their ways, in the ancient paths, to walk in byways in a way not built up, to make their land an astonishment and a perpetual hissing. Everyone who passes thereby will be astonished and shake his head. I'll scatter them as with an east wind before the enemy. I'll show them the back and not the face in the day of their calamity. Comment in verse 13, the Virgin of Israel is a term of endearment. It comes from a father having a soft spot for his young daughter. Yahweh has a soft spot for Judah, calling her the virgin daughter of Israel. She's done a horrible thing, but since Yahweh has a soft spot, he'll reverse course if she'll repent. In verse 12, Judah says, It's vain, for we walk after our own plans and the stubbornness of our heart. In other words, you ask us to repent in vain. We like what we're doing and we're not about to change. Yahweh says in verse 13, Ask among the nations, who has heard such things? What in the world? The situation that prompts the question in verse 13 comes after in verses 14 to 17. He describes the situation after he asked the question. It's unimaginable. No one would expect the rocky peaks of Lebanon to lose their snow. No one would expect the cold streams that flow down from those peaks to dry up. Things like that don't happen. Yet Yahweh's people have forgotten him. How does a nation know Yahweh in their past, then forget him? He's completely unforgettable, yet Judah forgot him. They traded the Creator for gods that are nothing. Who could imagine? They stumbled in their ancient ways. Their ancient way was to recognize and serve Yahweh, but they stumbled in that way. They went off track to walk in a byway, in a way not built up, meaning they left the established superhighway that it is to follow Yahweh, trading that for the unestablished path that it is to follow gods that are nothing. What are you thinking, Judah? Has any nation in the history of the world ever done something so unimaginable? Therefore, in verses 16 and 17, Yahweh will make their land an astonishment, meaning he'll destroy the land so thoroughly it'll be astonishing. Everyone who passes by Judah's ruins will be astonished to contemplate what they used to be, and now this complete destruction. Yahweh will show Judah the back and not the face in the day of their calamity, meaning he'll turn his back on them in the day of their calamity. So what kind of response has Jeremiah been getting? Verse 18. Then they said, "Come, let's devise plans against Jeremiah, for the law won't perish from the priest, nor counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come and let's strike him with the tongue, and let's not give heed to any of his words." Comment in verse 18, the people of Judah, and especially the religious establishment, say, "The law won't perish from the priest, nor counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet." They're highly confident in their religious establishment. Nothing wrong with our religion, they say. We're the true and wise religion. We're proud of our priests, wise men, and prophets. We're sophisticated. Go away, Jeremiah, you simpleton. We know better. We trust the religious establishment. Jeremiah says, verse 19, "Give heed to me, Yahweh, and listen to the voice of those who contend with me. Should evil be recompensed for good? For they have dug a pit for my soul. Remember how I stood before you to speak good for them, to turn away your wrath from them." Comment Jeremiah says, "Please take note how they treat me. I stood before them and spoke your good word, and I prayed for them, and this is how they reward me. They dug a pit for my soul. They wished for my destruction." He goes on praying, verse 21, "Therefore deliver up their children to the famine and give them over to the power of the sword. Let their wives become childless and widows. Let their men be killed and their young men struck by the sword in battle. Let a cry be heard from their houses when you bring a troop suddenly on them, for they've dug a pit to take me and hidden snares for my feet. Yet, Yahweh, you know all their counsel against me to kill me. Don't forgive their iniquity. Don't blot out their sin from your sight. Let them be overthrown before you. Deal with them in the time of your anger." Comment, a prayer for God to destroy is called an imprecatory prayer. Only a prophet can pray an imprecatory prayer. The rest of us are commanded to pray good for our enemies. Luke 6:28. Since Jeremiah is a prophet, he knows Yahweh's will is to destroy them. Therefore, he can pray that will on them, as he does in verses 21 to 23. Jeremiah 19 is next.